All right, Cancer, this one's for you. Hi, Cancer, that's you. This is Tarot Lumination with your general report for November 2017. You know the drill, you've done it before. We're trying to cut as much of the preamble out as possible so we can get straight on with your reading. No jumpers, no flyers, oracles, no reversals. I like to think of it as a journey. So we do this heart spread, journey of the heart, okay? And cards are already well shuffled. We're going to keep going to the last second so that you're a witness. Then we're going to cut and read, cut, then spread, then read. Okay? All right, Cancer, here we go. Oh, by the way, you know the drill. Watch for your sun, moon, and rising. Also, if you're interested, there's a little raffle going on. There's a button up here at the top, a little white button with an eye in it. Just click that. It'll take you to the raffle. Okay? It's for the silk scarf. All right? So let's go. Let's see. Cutting. All right, let's have a look. This would be you, Cancer, at the very core, heart of self. Maybe not even identifiable energy, just that pulse of you, not your conscious thoughts, not your fears, not your uh, let's just say expectations or plans or just anything. It's just the core pulsing beating heart core of you right now going through this time period. This is legacy energy, let's say leftovers or baggage or heritage energy that you're bringing in with you from, who knows, past lives or just the last week or two, who knows. So this is the energy of the ever-present now as you move through this time period that we call November. And this too shall change, but just for the time being, let's just call this your energy of now. And then as you move through these periods, of course, you're always making decisions day by day, thousands of decisions, sometimes one or two big ones, sometimes lots of little ones. That's this energy here. And then moving forward, it's on the understanding that, well, wait a minute, I'm on a journey. Oh, this thing is called time, that we live through it like a pool, like an environment. So you're always moving forward regardless, and making decisions have leads to outcomes and circumstances and conditions and events. And so as soon as you start making decisions, there's that energy in your body that feels, oh wow, what if this works? Or oh no, what if it doesn't? So you're always poised facing the unknown. Over here is how do you move through that energy most effectively in the most loving way for yourself that works for you, because that's ultimately what's best for others. And then, assuming you love the basic laws of the universe and abide by them, and the laws of attraction and the laws of karma, then this energy would be naturally coming to you. Otherwise, it might feel as though life is coming at you and then you respond, and then this would feel more like fate. This is that energy of looking forward into your future, what we call your future, where there's always risk, always reward. And what if it does work? What if it doesn't? Okay. And this is the momentum. Like, where does this all go? Where is this all leading? Okay. And then we're going to look here in a moment. That's the prevailing conditions around you. Let's just call it the weather. And you, Cancer, like everybody, you're going to make the most of it. The weather is not going to own you. You make the best of it, and you have Page of Cups. So you might be going through a little time period here right now, Cancer, where you are ripe for learning, ripe for, let's say, being plucked, being enjoyed, and also dipping your toe in the waters of fresh new love and abundance, but in ways that you've never known before, because we're always ascending, always growing, always evolving, so long as we make decisions to keep going. So you have a really good environment right now. Let's just say it's very, very simple. It's very, very pure. It's very unguarded. It's very innocent. So you're in a situation. So Cancer, by the way, with Jupiter and Scorpio happening right now, it's happening in your, let's see, in your fifth house of love and romance, creativity, expression, being your abundant, creative, emotive self, like art, music, and writing, expression, being on stage, and being bright and courageous, for yourself and of course for others. So it's actually kind of, in theory, it's a very opportune time for you, Cancer, to heal and grow in that part of your life, especially as it's indicated here. Lots of opportunity for growth and learning, and with all of the good intentions here. There's really no um, signs of any problems here except what needs to be learned as we go along. What's at the core? Okay, well, let's just say with the Two of Pentacles here, there is an even more amplified, let's say, awareness of innocence, where your innocence is apparent enough and vivid enough, and the environment around you is relatively so new and different, and potentially like it's like walking into a new field where it's just been raining and the weather's been up and down for a while, but all of a sudden it clears and you get that lovely, beautiful feeling when you enter into a field of abundance, and it's full and lush and it's starting to bloom and it's just beautiful. But that puts you in an awkward situation where it's almost like, what are you going to do with all of that? There is so much potential out there, the abundance. It puts you in a position of, well, it can be very unsettling because you're starting to realize how much you don't know, how much you need to know, but you're also realizing that you do have certain inherent skills and talents already, and you're doing your very best to put them to good use in very practical manners. And this is radiating from the very core heart of you, whether you know it or not. In other words, you have the very best of intentions in very new, innocent circumstances and environments where you have a lot to learn, which can also imply that you're going to have a lot to balance and juggle and understand as you go through this new chapter of life that we call November. So if it feels like, let's say, well, let's just keep going. If there's a lot of turbulence that's happening, but it's at a very core level, it's okay. It's like you're doing it actually in a very judicious way, perhaps actually allowing you to develop your skills at creating harmony and balance in your love life, for example. Even though this is not a love reading, let's just talk about it in terms of love on the most, let's just say, energetic level as opposed to the personal level. We're talking about love in the broad sense. In other words, the love of a mother for a child, the love of a person for their job or for a work of art, or even for another person. But I don't want to, that's a separate playlist for love and relationship. So just for now, what are you bringing in with you? Okay, let's just say a lot of resources. Okay, you're realizing that, Cancer, you do have something. You do have something very valuable to offer, and not only to yourself, but to others around you. But it's a question of, what are you going to do with that? How and where are you going to allocate all your goodwill, all your resources? Because this is a card of serious reality checking, and this is a card of seriously trying to figure out the the parameters of your reality and what to do with your natural resources. So with the Eight of Pentacles here, it feels to me that you, Cancer, have already been very hard at work at your own evolutionary path, doing everything that you can to try and build solidity, a foundation, a let's say a new way of being that will survive the long term. And you're very determined to make this happen. You've already been hard at work at it, and this is going to, let's say, permeate the rest of the reading, because this is very good energy to bring in with you that can endure. You can grow from here. It's the energy of, let's say, deep investment, understanding that your hard work is already showing signs of paying off and will continue to pay off, but it is work and it means a lot of work. So you might feel almost overwhelmed with work in some way or another, but you're still hard at it because you know you have to do it. So it's very noble, very responsible. So in the let's say, given these energies combined, in other words, let's say while you are doing your noble work, you're also realizing, like while you're concentrating on the work, trying to figure out how to make the best of this, how to refine the work, how to improve the quality of the work, how to improve the value of the work. So it really, really does have a chance to blossom and grow down the road in a way that's most loving for you and most loving for the environment around you. Okay, it's a very, very, very practical application of the energy of love, and you're learning how to do that in very practical ways. In other words, love is as love does. Love would be the willing decision to work and go beyond your, let's say, easy comfort zones in order to extend yourself and do the work that's required in order to enhance and foster the spiritual growth and healing of yourself and your dear ones. Okay? That's love is as love does. It's not always comfortable, it's not always fun, but it is loving. Okay? So let's have a look at the ever present now, moving through this time period. What are you radiating? Okay, justice. So this is justice served, justice done exactly as it should be. It's very harmonious, it's very much in balance in such a way that, let's just say, you understand it, that let's just say it's working for you. You understand how it works for you. You understand like the laws of karma and how by like making responsible decisions and responsible choices based on your like core pulsing heart energy in very simple ways that you could recognize as what is loving or what is not loving, and then letting it unfold. So you realize there's a lot of responsibility here with how you conduct yourself, in that the output of your work, the value of your work, the value of you is very evident to yourself and others, and that's a big deal. That has significant consequence, especially if it's going to grow and grow over the long term. Where, let's say it does work for you, then you deserve that. And if the services and the values and the gifts and the talents and resources that you make available to others helps them improve their life and benefit, then that's what they deserve too. So it's like a mutually rewarding type of energy here, where by investing very judiciously and cautiously in yourself, doing the work, that brings just rewards, not just to yourself, but to your others and loved ones, which is like a new form of understanding about how love is as love does. So even though this is very, studious and very diligent and very committed and very serious, and the understanding is that there are serious consequences here, then that's good to understand, because you can also realize that there's still so much to learn from this as you go forward. Also, if you're in a situation, Cancer, where there's a lot at stake, a lot at balance regarding your welfare and your own abundance and your work opportunities that are being determined by, let's say, an external authority that has a lot of power and influence in your life, in your world right now, whoever or whatever that might be, it's important to acknowledge that and respect that. Okay? And you will get what you deserve. It will be just and just as fair as it should be and could be, and there would be no harm or malice here in any way, shape, or form. In other words, everything is unfolding exactly as it should be, according to the laws of the universe, the laws of attraction, and the laws of karma, and so be it. Thank you very much. So if you feel as though you're at the mercy of authorities out there, that would make sense. If you feel that you are in alignment with the energies that are out there in terms of authorities, and you're just, minding your own business, that's good too. It's not as though you would have a lot of say if this is external energy coming to you, but it is you having a lot to say in terms of how you express and share your resources and energy. So making decisions moving forward, this is kind of serious for you, Cancer, because it's like big, big reality checks about what's actually happening in your day-to-day life, in terms of your innocence, about where you've come from already and how much you need to learn moving forward. Nothing good or bad about that. It's just how it is. A lot of growth opportunities here, especially in your ability to create works of value, be of value to yourself and to others. And so moving forward, you know you have to make decisions, almost in the way that justice are decisions that are happening anyway. So how do we do this? Okay, this card has been showing up quite a few times. Private readings, general readings, the Sunday Night Live show, and things like that. It's on the understanding here that the King of Swords kind of represents the ultimate authority. Okay, and the King of Swords energy on its own is very just. It's very noble. It's very righteous. It's very knowledgeable. It's very truthful. It's very, very honest. And it's very, let's say, irrefutable. Okay? So with this card here in this position, my feeling for you, Cancer, is that you're very aware of what's going on around you, and you're continuing to work through the process anyway, knowing that you've got a lot on your plate, that there's a lot at stake here, and that you're going to continue to invest like you've already been investing. However, your outcomes over here are very, very contingent upon very big, important decisions that you're going to have to make and balance and figure out, and that others are making for you, in case there are authorities outside of you that are having an impact on your life. And so it puts you in a position where you have to take very high levels of responsibility for what's happening and what is unfolding in a way that is, let's just say, very, very mature. In other words, you're going to have to be very, very mature about how you conduct yourself through this time period, because it will have consequences down the road. Like big decisions come to big consequences, and it will have impact on others. In other words, the way that you conduct yourself and carry yourself to this level of majesty and authority could be very valuable to others. So it's very important that the words and the voice that you, let's say, live through in your life. Because we through our decisions and our thoughts, which become things, it turns into words, and our words often turn into actions, which turn into consequences. Like if you think, I wouldn't mind some ice cream. And then it comes out of your mouth. You talk to yourself, your friends, hey, do you want to go get some ice cream? And then that turns into an action. You think, let's do it. So you go get the ice cream, and the consequence is that you got the ice cream. So, I'm just trying to give you an example, but this is on a very significant level where you have to be very, very aware that your thoughts, your words, your deeds lead to consequences. To every word, the way it's written and structured, the way it's expressed or not expressed. Communication can often include what is not shared, what is not expressed. But with the King of Swords here, it's in the decisions position. It feels like it's very, very important that you take full responsibility for every thought, word that comes out of your mind and into consciousness, and how it affects the rest of the world. In other words, you're creating your world as you go along, decision by decision. And these are important decisions. Every single decision that you make has consequences on yourself and consequences on others. So it's kind of a lot to handle. It might make you feel quite uncomfortable in that way, Cancer, especially if you might have to, in your own authority, have to accept decisions from another very significant authority, okay, where there could be power clashes going on between yourself and how you would like to conduct yourself in your own dominion, as opposed to yourself and how you have to conduct yourself in the larger sphere of life, where you have to accept that there are, let's say, entities, authorities, structures, and beings and ways of life that are out there that can impact you, and how you can impact others. So it's very, very important to understand like the process of manifestation through thoughts, words, and deeds. Okay, let's have a look. So how do we do that effectively so you don't harm yourself and you don't let others harm you, or no harm comes from the decisions, because there's so much at stake with your decisions and the decisions of others upon you. Let's have a look. So luckily, we're going to see this as a divine opportunity. So let's just take this in the positive aspect, in that you already know deep down, Cancer, for example, let's just say you kind of figure it out that the Jupiter in Scorpio thing is actually really good news for you, and you're just going to roll with it. And perhaps like the Leo North Node thing is good for you, because you might be realizing with Leo being kind of in your second house astrologically, it's very much about your value, your worth, your resources, your talents, your gifts. Maybe you're realizing now all the work that you've done throughout your life to this point is finally starting to have real value out there, not just for yourself, but for others. And so, yes, there's a lot at stake here. Big decisions are in play. There's a lot in play here regarding really kind of big, important, life-changing decisions that are putting you kind of right at the limits of your abilities to make these decisions or accept these decisions from others, but it's there nonetheless. So the only way to handle it is treat it as a divine opportunity. With the Ace of Wands, it is the energy of opportunity. So it's coming at you, and you grab it, and you always look at it as a way to improve and grow no matter what. Even if it might seem unfair, or even if you had to make hard decisions that seemed difficult and unfair at any point in time, it's always working for you. It's always favorable ultimately in the long term, because you're doing it all in the spirit of honor and justice and respect and integrity and truth and uh, sovereignty of self. Okay, so it's almost like you can't go wrong, but even if it feels awkward, either way, to make the best of the energy through November is to treat all of it as divine opportunity coming to you. And then how does that all integrate moving forward? So let's have a look. See? See what happens? Again, we're focusing very much on the energy of decisions here. We've got the Ten of Cups. Okay, so with the Ten of Cups here, kind of in an outcomes place, where it's going to be an indication that so long as you understand, Cancer, that there is a lot at stake, there's a lot of work to do. It requires continued ongoing diligence from where you've come from and for where you are right now and from where you are going. That's a good thing. You will get your break in due time. Look at that. But it means understanding and accepting in your current moments of innocence with matters of love. The essence of love is as love does, and turning it into something bigger, more substantial, that has bigger consequences out there in the world, and then in return back to you, so that it's all some way, somehow, a new start, a new opportunity for you to really tune into your passions, especially that fifth house scorpionic type energy, where you can really come into your light and grow and blossom with creative self-expression. And of course, what happens? Healthy decisions lead to healthy outcomes. Healthy, loving decisions that are made with the most highest levels of integrity and loving intent always result in happiness. So it's inevitable that you would get the Ten of Cups anyway. And this is all embracing happiness. This isn't like quick thrills. This isn't just like, oh, what can I get out of you that would make me happy? This is happiness that is shared. Shared happiness where you are loving and you are loved. You are loving, you are loved, because you figured out, wow, love is as love does. Wow. Be loving, be loved. It's that simple. Yeah, Cancer. Be loving, be loved. However, the details of be loving, that's a whole other thing. That can be very, very complex. Okay? But in essence, be loving, be loved. And guess what happens? So make it personal. You are loving, you are loved. And that's what you get. You get to share that love with your loved ones. Your loved ones get to share their love with you. And it feeds on itself like a nuclear reactor. Okay? Like a chain reaction. It's beautiful. Okay, let's just keep going. All right, Cancer. What about like, because there's so much like at stake for you, where you're having to maintain such a high degree of diligence and integrity, authority of self, that you know it could be taxing on you. You could be very exhausted coming into November, Cancer, and then having to maintain your integrity through that. But it's worth it. Let's have a look. What happens if it all works out? Okay. So, and also what happens if it doesn't? So if it all works out, let's look at this in its most positive light. My feeling for you, Cancer, is that it allows you to, let's just say, really indulge yourself just for a few moments in the realization that you're really getting a chance to do what you really passionately wanted to do for perhaps a very, very long time. And you've never had that chance until now. And now all of a sudden you're starting to see it uh, manifest in front of you in ways that are very tangible, very luscious, very, very desirable, to the point where it's like very, very compelling, very, very binding, and wanting, let's say, to incorporate that and bring that deeper into your own being. Now, of course, you don't have to be a slave to this, okay? With these energies here, okay, it would be very easy to be, let's say, entwined or bound up. I'm looking at both sides of the energy now. The luscious side of the devil card that's hardly ever, let's see, discussed, but it's okay now and again for you to really, really enjoy the fine things in life, the good things in life that you might have never had a chance to really enjoy before because you've always been so hard at it, just trying to build foundations and get some sort of value and stability into your life. But now you have a chance for this to happen. It would be okay to indulge a little bit, like treat yourself, you know, pop open that bottle of champagne, have a party, treat yourself and your loved ones, um, you know, to the point of like over the top merriment just for once now and again. It's okay now and again to just really go for it. I'm not saying like turn it into, you know, something where you become a slave to your new way of being. That's not healthy. Okay. So it's also a realization that when you, let's say, come into these richer, riper ways of understanding how love is as love does, it can be very addictive. Once you get it, once you understand it, it's like, oh my gosh, now I know there's no going back. I want to stick to that. So I'm trying to paint a very, very positive light to this card here for you, Cancer. So you don't feel scared about it. So you don't feel as like, oh, well, what happens if I mess up? Well, what happens if you mess up is that you could get tied up in your own knots about what you thought love is as love does was meaning. And of course, that's not going to work for you. So let's stay to the positive and understand that this could be a very delicious experience for you, and you've deserved it for a long time. And it would be perfectly okay to want to keep it and own it and grow from there. Where does that take us? Okay, to the point where you want to call it out, almost to the point where, wow, once you understand this and once you own this type of energy so that it does not own you, where you can be like the embodiment of, let's say, love is as love does, and you can bring in the energy of happiness and love in your life, and almost to the point where this is not a love and relationship reading, but where you can indulge in it a little bit because it's so delicious to have this if you've not had this for so long. So you can treat yourself a little bit, but not let it own you, so that ultimately you can be, let's say, someone who can very clearly express their learnings and new understandings when it comes to their own growth and understanding in how love is as love does, so that you can call it out. You can be one of those people who, for it's okay for you to express things as you learn, as you go along, and you wouldn't be judged. You don't have to sit and wait to go through like a 4-year academy of love is as love does. You can like hang out and express that to others in such a way as like, you know, every time you learn something new, it's okay to call it out and express that and share that with others because it's so delicious and so satisfying. All right, I'm going to stop talking now, Cancer. Please make the best of it. Reinterpret however you want. It's your reading for you. I'm going to put this over the side here for fun. And thank you so much. Watch for your sun, moon, and rising. All the best, Cancer. All right, bye-bye.